What's up, Ape family? This is the Common Sense Investor coming at you with another video, and I'm going to attempt to unknot what many people believe I've knotted up by saying the transfers is what's causing a problem here. Here's what's going on. You got to imagine there's two types of AMC shares. You got a synthetic share, you got a real share. Who owns what? Nobody knows. I've got like 25 shares in Moo and 35 shares in Public and so forth. What the log to float article means and the chart means is this. While the other YouTubers are focused on, oh, we proved it right. Finally it's exposed. The synthetics are out there. Yes, but nobody knows who has them. Nobody knows who owns a real share. Nobody knows who owns a synthetic share. Why? Because they're in a big old ball right now, and it has to be unwound so that we can see, and it's laid out on the table, who owns a real share. That's the question. Because, and this is how they're going to fix it. This is how they're going to fix it. There's 513 million real shares. There's billions of synthetic shares. The only way to figure out who has real shares is once the shorts cover. And by covering, if you watch my videos, you know I mean the 97 million shares that they have shorted legally, that they went out and borrowed the shares and then sold onto the market hoping for the price to go down, blah blah blah. Y'all know what that all means. But once they are forced out of those positions and have to buy those 97 million shares, the price will incrementally grow as each one falls. As each one falls and the shares, the 97 million, are bought back, that's identifying who has real shares. Now, there's still billions out there that have to be addressed. But in order to figure out how many billion, because everybody, like I say, nobody knows, but to identify how many billion are out there, there's only one way to do that. They have to cover the 97 million legally shorted shares. Then, after that, whatever's left on the table is synthetic bullshit. Now, let's talk about the apex chart and log to float, and what did I mean with my question. In January, it said that Apex was holding 513 million shares. That proves they're synthetics, because there's more than one clearinghouse. I know that. Whoever commented that in my comments, I know that. But the point is this. They were on the hook for 513 million. When the shorts cover their 97 million, how many's left over there in Weeble or Moo or whatever, Apex? That's going to be synthetic shares. And that's what they're on the hook for. And that's what the DOJ and the SEC and GG is going to be looking for. But before they can identify who has the synthetic shares, they have to cover the 97 million. And like I said, everything else on the table is going to be synthetic. Now, when you initiate a transfer, what has happened is, this is why the chart's going to eat down. I request 25 shares to be transferred from Moo to E-Trade. Moo has to go on the open market. They have to buy them 25 shares, period. That's it, just 25 shares. And last week they could have got them shares for $20 fucking a share, $22, $23 a share. That's not going to break them, okay? What would have broke them would have been if everybody would have stayed where they were and waited for the shorts to cover their 97 million. Now all the rest of them are going to be synthetic. But for now, once transfers happen, these smaller brokerage apps were able to go out on the open market and buy them at a cheaper price because there's no pressure. The price isn't astronomical. The price hasn't gone up because the 97 million haven't been covered yet, see? That's why the price is staying in pretty much where it's at. until they start covering the 97 million, the price doesn't move up to 80, like Lou says, and then the real shitstorm starts. So when I said that the transfers, or I asked the question, what caused that decline, it was the transfers. So now Apex is no longer on the hook for 513 million synthetic shares. They're only on the hook for 100 million synthetic shares. So I hope that helps clear up a little bit. If not, if you still have a question, say, do me a favor. Try to be a little respectful in your comments. We can disagree with one another without being ugly. Y'all could have some really ugly ass comments, which means you're an ugly ass person. And that's not good either. But until they cover the 97 million shares, and then whatever's left in these brokerage accounts is synthetic, the DOJ and them will step in then, and the price will move up to whatever, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. But the point is, transferring over to another brokerage firm, taking your shares out of the smaller brokerage firms, allowed them to buy at a cheaper price at a smaller lot. They only had to do 25 shares from me. Maybe 10,000 people requested the same thing. Well, they still could buy it for pennies on the dollar. Why? Because they haven't started covering the 96 or 97 million, which was going to bring the price up. They did have a price spike because people are transferring, but their obligation of having 513 million synthetics has lowered because they went onto the open market, they purchased shares, and they sent them shares to wherever you wanted them to go. That's how that works. And that's why they're only on the hook now for 100 million shares, which means the ceiling that everybody's hoping to hit has went down dramatically because they've covered 300 million shares over the course of whenever people ask, well, send my 5 shares here, send my 8 shares there, send my 2,000 shares here. I hope that's a little bit more understanding for you. That when I say has the squeeze been delayed, not really. They still got to cover them 97 million. Until then, nobody's going to know who owns a synthetic and who owns a real share. Once they buy back the 97 million and return them where they came from, what's left will be synthetic. Till then, all shares are in this big old fucking ball, and we're waiting for the shorts to cover. And that's all I could say. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. I hope I explained it well enough to where everybody can understand it. If you still have questions, comment down below and I'll do my best to answer them. But right now, my first concern is, of course, my father. So I'm gonna go finish making his breakfast. I love y'all. Talk to y'all later. And I'll see you in a couple hours with some new videos. Oh, don't forget to subscribe and like.